Madness Entertainment Group presents Put the Comic Artist Hour with Les Garner.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we are back yet another week, and full disclosure, I'm actually suffering from sun poisoning right now, so I am not feeling the greatest, but I'm here for you. I'm gonna push on through with this thing.
And we are continuing with last week's piece, right?
Yep. So I actually already continued with it because I had a deadline for it, and I'll show you what my final ended up looking like, which is right here. And turn on my logos and trade dress for it. That's what the final piece came out as. But I'm still going to go back through and touch on, how we get from where it was at the end of the stream to something like this. Who knows? Maybe what I do today I'll end up liking better than what I did there. So just a recap. Basically, what I took you through last week was putting your inks in a layer of their own set to multiply, and then having layers underneath that get your color flats. And those color flats have very little to actually do with the final colors, like with the actual colors themselves. What they are is really kind of a color-coded means of making selections. So here I have my characters and my backgrounds in two different layers for flatting. And where I would go next from that would be to set, let's say, my background layer, because I will tend to work with that first to build up the backgrounds. I'll select my background layer and I'll set it to a reference layer. That's the little lighthouse icon there. Once I have that set as a reference layer, then I will add a new color layer. And I'll take my magic wand tool. If we turn off apply connected pixels only and turn on refer multiple and then choose reference layer. Now I don't have to be in the reference layer for it to make selections based on what's in that. So I'm in a blank layer right now. And if I have my wand selected and I have refer multiple turned on, I have it set to my reference layer, and I click, say, on the green right here, you're going to see that it makes a selection of everything that was coded with that green. And that will allow me now to color into this layer or do whatever I want with that particular selection. So let's actually what I want to do here, I think, is I'm going to select that green. Then I'm going to hold shift and add the orange to the selection. Then I'm hold shift and add that red to the selection. Hold shift and add this green. Right now I'm just making this big selection of all this different stuff. And that's going to give me most of the background as a selection. Okay. Now, where I'm going to go from here, this is like speed work kind of tricks and stuff. I'm going to go into my layers and say new layer. Let's do a gradient layer. Okay. And I'll just go ahead and hit OK with the default and then come over here and we'll start working with the gradient here. We'll click on advanced settings and we'll bring that up. Hopefully that palette shows up for you guys. If it doesn't, well, it's there. And I'm sorry about that. Oh, so in that palette, you'll have these little arrows at either end of whatever your gradient looks like. And when you click on one of those, then you can hit a button that says, a little radio button that says specified color. So I will then click on the color swatch next to that. And I think we're going to give that a, here we go, kind of a darker purple color. Then the foreground, I'm going to click on its arrow, set that to specified color. And we're going to go with something a little warmer in the foreground. There we go. Okay. And right off the bat, you can see that does an incredible amount of work for us. Next thing I'll do is right click this layer and rasterize it. And now that it's rasterized, I can go in here. Of course, it has a layer mask already on it because of the selection we made. Now that it's rasterized, I can go in and start painting, and that's all going to paint into the areas that are selected there. So let's see. I want to go next. Here's a really handy trick that I haven't. It surprises me that I haven't seen tutorials from people doing this. I'm half expecting somebody's going to be like, "Oh, that's bad. Don't do that." But I don't see any reason why. So what I'm going to do next is add a correction layer. Okay, I'm going to go into my layers. I'm going to add a correction layer of hue, saturation, and luminosity. And I'm not going to change anything yet. I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. So we've got that sitting there. Then I'm going to hit this little button that says clip to layer below. Now I'm going to double click that layer and bring it up. Oh, the dog joined us?
He's saying hi, Les. He's saying hi.
So now that we have hue, saturation, and luminosity set to clip, I'll open its settings, and here you'll see what that does. So if I increase or decrease my saturation, increase or decrease my luminosity, or if I change the hue, it's really going to shift it across the spectrum. So what I will do here is look for a general color shift that I like for, let's say, highlights, okay? And then let's delete this mask. I'm going to put a fresh mask on here and then hit delete so that there's nothing in it. So right now, that hue saturation filter, what should I call it? Correction layer. Yeah, that's it. The hue saturation correction layer is there and it's live, but it's masked completely out. What we're going to do, what I like to do with this, is paint into my mask. So here you'll see when I start brushing in here, you'll see the change that it makes. Now I'm going to delete that. Now we're going to combine what we have here with our ability to make selections from that, from our flats. So if I get my wand and I know I want those pipes that I had coated in orange, I click on one of those pipes and it selects it based on what's down here that I'm not really even looking at. And so now inside here, I can click on that mask again and I have a perfect mask so that I can make that kind of a color change to that element. And I'm not having to fight with making selections. So there's that done to those. Then just to keep it kind of painterly, a lot of times I'll come through and just kind of loosely scrub in little bits and bobs of color, little bits into the mask just to highlight different pieces. And I like how non-destructive this is, because if I were to change this gradient right now, let's just duplicate that gradient and crack it open. I said open. Because I rasterized it. That's okay. Let's just Control U, and we'll do a hue change. So as I do that hue change, you can see that what I'm painting in this hue saturation layer's mask is still affecting it. So it's a nice way of being able to work rather non-destructively. So that's something I'm quite fond of, because it sucks when you have to, redo things a whole lot. Right now, I'm going to make a selection from what I know is that green. I said make a selection from the green. Oh, did something just die on me? Let's go look at this. There we go. And now then, with that selection up, I'm just going to come in here and brush into this layer mask. Like so. And you notice I'm not really caring about staying inside any lines or staying around, like not getting into the characters or anything like that, because I have this masking up and I have a selection up that are going to prevent all of that. So now that's been kind of opened up for me. Okay. Now then, let's do, here's an interesting opportunity. So if you recall the mask that we initially made from all those different color-coded sections, right? If I go under this layer that we made from that, and I add a new gradient layer, so let's do a new layer, do a new gradient layer. Don't care about it right there because I'm going to change it from inside here. Let's make that a circle gradient. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Then I'm going to flip that. Okay. And I'm going to go to advanced settings. And let's make that, let's see, let's click on the arrow for our darker color here and hit specified color. And I'm going to pick a color from my screen with the eyedropper tool there. Okay. And then let's just turn this back to a straight gradient like that and flip it again. Okay. Now we're going to pull that this way. That's good for now. So there you can see the effects of that gradient from through there. Let's come in here and do my advanced settings one more time with, let's see here now. I'm going to select my lighter color, go into its color swatch, and let's make it something kind of greenish. Okay, like that. Cool. I can dig that. Now, since it's starting to look a little strange at the moment with all the color that's going inside the characters, there's so many different ways that we could organize this. Like right now, I think I'm going to select these 3 layers, right click and hit create folder and insert layer. I'm going to call this background, or I'm just going to say BKG. And then from there, I am going to set my control click on my character flats, which is going to give me a perfect outline of all of those as a selection. Okay. And now, let's turn that back off. Why did that get turned on? No, I accidentally hit something. There we go. So now I'm going to go back to background, the folder that I made, and click the button for layer mask, which will make a layer mask from what was selected, and then invert it. So now I can see those characters against the colors that I have in that background. I can go in this layer at any time and start coloring a bit more on my background, which I kind of like to do this. I use a watercolor style brush for a lot of backgrounds, or for actually just for a lot of stuff. So let's go in here and start to get some color variability going on. So I'm going to take a little bit of orange, kind of warm up some of these tones in the bottom. Like so. And here I'm kind of intentionally just, being very loose with it because I like that watercolory sort of looseness. Okay. Then let's come in here and knock some blues back into the street here. And since I have that mask I made from the character knockouts in the folder for these colors, I can just come in here and paint at will without touching any of the colors for the characters. And most everything in this, as far as I'm concerned, is kind of to taste. It's whatever you like, whatever your whatever your goals are for the piece of artwork. So I would come in here and play around with different levels of rendering, putting color in, maybe accentuating some shadows and things. And this is something that coloring is something that you can spend, really all of it, you could spend just an endless amount of time learning it. And it's one of the things that's fun about doing this stuff is that pretty much no two pieces are the same. You learn like a handful of basic techniques, and then from there, it's how you put those together. Mm-mm-mm. So I like having that orange cast on things. I think I'm gonna hold Alt, and click, select a sample of that green color there, and maybe come in and start doing some little highlights, things with that. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I like how the green is very complementary to the orange. So if I use the green as a rim light around the orange, it makes things really pop off. Hmm. Let's see. I want to select that fire escape again. There we go. Nice. All right. Really doesn't take a whole lot of rendering to spruce up a background, especially if you've got a lot of good details in your actual drawing. Let's see, where would we go from here? I think I'm going to add a layer, and that layer is going to get set to add glow. And I'm going to choose something yellow and very light. And here I'm going to use my paint bucket set to refer multiple. I'm going to drop that yellow in here on these lamps. Maybe in a few windows as well, just cause. There we go. And once I have that dropped in there like that with the paint bucket, I'm going to take my pencil, set my hardness all the way down, and set the size all the way up. And then I'm just going to keep tapping right over top of those lights. And you'll see how that's blowing in this this lighter color that's affecting everything, really bringing out those light sources. Now, of course, that's sitting under sitting under my inks. And if I want to have that actually blast out the inks a little bit to really enhance that lighting, I will come to my inks, put a layer over top of that, and then we'll set that to the layer to add glow. And then I can draw in that glow, and you'll see how it starts to affect the inks. And we can add some nice little effects to this by drawing these kind of lines. It's a bit much, but that's okay. Let's do this slightly differently. I'm going to use a radial line ruler. I'm going to click on that light, and then from there, just so this has a little more texture to it, I'll use my watercolor brush, and we will just make these lines coming off of here. And I'm probably going to overdo it with these because why not? And we can always pull some away from it later. There's one. Now I'll take my selection tool and select that little, if it'll let me, come on. There you are. And I'll pull that radial line ruler over to this side, and we'll do the same thing. Now I'm going to right click and delete that ruler. And I think I'm going to come in here and just add some sort of textural little pops in here that will build up that that lighting effect down the center. Okay. Then from there, I would add a layer mask, and I'll set this brush to transparent pixels. Use a smaller brush, and we'll come in and just start masking bits of this out. Let's get rid of that ruler. Here we go. So then we're sort of sculpting that light back out to feel a little more interactive with the characters. Oh. I'll add a little bit of breakup here and there, just cause I think it makes it a little more interesting. Of course, we can always turn that back off when we need to see what else we have going on. All right. So that pretty much takes care of my background. I mean, I could do more with it, but I think definitely for the sake of tutorial, that really gets it, gets it there. Shows you a lot of what I would do. Now, when I was flatting these characters, I actually flatted them with colors pretty close to what their actual colors need to be, which is why it ends up looking almost finished already. But let's go ahead and we'll just close up that background color folder and add a new folder or a new layer and a new folder. And these will be characters. Okay. And I'm going to control click on my characters flats. And then we'll click there to add a layer mask. And so now everything that we paint inside here is going to be restrained to just, or contained to just the character areas. So let's see. I'm going to start with kind of a variation on that first trick I showed, where I'm going to go in and take my hue, saturation, and luminosity. I'm going to add that in here. And so let's turn down our saturation, turn down our luminosity. Oh, I forgot. I want to make sure that I set that folder, its blend mode to through. Okay, now then I can turn down that luminosity, turn down the saturation, and we'll delete all the pixels out of its mask. And now when I come in here with I'll use my pencil tool. I'm going to use my half hardness on it. And when I come in here and start to paint with that, doesn't matter what color you choose because you're just telling it to fill in pixels in this mask. So then we can come in here and start to apply that. So we know exactly what the shadow value is going to be that we're causing to be applied. Pardon me, first yawn of the day. Let's go to a bigger brush and just drop a little color right there. Color right there, kind of thinking about my light sources. And anytime we want to see how that's going to interact with our light, we can just turn that on and we'll see right there. So using this set of techniques, you can do a lot of coloring really, really fast. Most of the interior colors, whenever I'm doing interior colors on something, most of it gets done using basically all the techniques that you've seen me use here today. Oh. So here we're just painting into that mask some more, using that mask's values to help build up some shadows. Okay. And go. Oh, pardon me. The sun,
You like it, Pop?
sun poisoning is really wearing me out.
Do you like what he's doing now? I can't hear you, buddy. You're like not talking very loud. He's just been sitting here next to me watching the whole time.
That's funny. Let's see. Let's turn that hardness down a little bit. Come in here and use this as a means of knocking back some of the color out of her dress. Maybe a little sip of coffee here and we'll kind of step back and review. What's crazy is, like, you know, I spent the whole hour last time just setting up the flats so I can make those selections. And then you can see how fast it can all go once you have that stuff done. So in my opinion, that flatting, you know, knowing how to flat and then using your flats to make selections, to make masks, that's absolutely the key to being able to do this and do it quickly. And
You see what I'm saying?
speed is important.
Check out the screen real quick. See what I'm saying? Oh, don't leave now. You see, he was sitting here the whole time, and now he lays down. What a dick. He was sitting here the whole time watching the screen, dude.
That's fun, man.
As soon as I put him on camera, he's like, that's not what I came here to watch.
Come in here and delineate a little bit on these glasses. That. I want to give him a little bit of shading on his boots and legs.
See, he's interested. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's just watching the screen. Look at him.
That's funny.
He's just sitting here with me watching the show, man.
Now then, let's add another color layer in here. Since we're inside a folder that's masked, I can do this and not really worry too much about where this is going. So I'm going to take my fill lasso tool, grab kind of an orange color, and I'm going to draw all around that. And then let's take some of this darker color right here. And again, with the fill lasso tool, I really like using the fill lasso tool for a lot of stuff, especially in coloring. Okay. Now we need something kind of brown. Pardon me. There we go. Then these feathers over here, I want to have darker, so we'll just do that. Like so. That's not bad. Don't do that. All right. Now, just to do something a little different, I'm going to take a this brush that I have here. It's a version of a smudge brush. It's called Soothing Watercolor. I'm going to keep it at about 200 pixels, and I'm going to use it to just drag some streaks out through where I just dropped those colors for her broom. So terrible. Now let's just add in a little bit of something to her face. Grab some purple for like an eyeshadow kind of thing, which I'm just going to treat the whole thing there as a shadow from under her hat, I think. Yeah, I kind of dig that. Then let's grab something a little brighter. And we'll put a little bit of tone in her cheeks, a bit of tone in her fingers. All right. Oh, excuse me. Now let's come in and use that soothing watercolor brush to kind of move some of this around and spread it about. Let's turn my lighting off there so I can really see. I may end up wanting to dial some of that lighting back. Yeah, let's turn that lighting on. We'll dial it back just a little bit. And let's click on the layer mask, and we're going to remove some of that from around her face. Keep that right there. Let's see. Might want to change the green in that background. Not sure. Let's see that. Since I didn't rasterize that, we can actually go in and make changes to that after the fact, which is real handy. So it makes everything kind of yellowed. If we went to a blue. Working non-destructively is nice because you can go back in and grab things and just make changes and see them very easily. It's nice to be able to see what you're doing like that and have a lot of options later on. All right, let's make a selection from our character flats. Okay. So now then, I want to crisp up some of this against all that light. Oof. All right. I like that much better once it gets nice and crispy. And that's pretty much it. Like, if you go back through and you watch this and you look at individual techniques that I use to get to that point, to do any of these things, that's really at the heart of how I do my colors. And it doesn't really get much more complicated than that. The more you stack layers and make selections and devote things, I know some people who will literally go through an image and devote a layer to like every different object in the image, which I think is excessive. But you could go through and do all that. Let's come in here and dial that back a little bit. See, once again, here's just a good example. I sat back and I looked and I was like, oh, there's a little too much light coming from under that cape. So just go in there and dial it back. Now, let's see. Here's the colors that I actually finalized. And you'll notice probably that they look a little washed out. And that is on purpose because a lot of times if you don't dial your saturation back a little bit, you'll have oversaturated colors when it goes to press. And your stuff will start getting muddy looking. So that's just a little tidbit. But that's going to pretty much cover it for my approach to coloring. And if anybody's watching and has any specific questions or anything, feel free to fire them off. I'm going to pop over here for a second and see who all's in the chat. And thank you all for putting up with me while I sound like crap and feel like crap today. Also, I don't know if we have launched Oz, the next Oz Kickstarter or not. I know Gear City is going to launch soon. Frankly, I'm so busy turning out the content that the schedule for the Kickstarters and all that's up to my boy Rick. So let's see. Billy Powermax 2264 fundmycomic.com/badmoon. Let's see. Yeah, I think that unless anybody's got any questions or you got anything you want to talk about for a minute, Pops, I may end up calling it early today because I feel like crap. But I feel like I've kind of taken it there and shown y'all my methodology on colors.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I don't know. The only thing we got, we're getting ready to set up at Hall of Heroes Comic-Con at the end of May.
Cool.
We'll be broadcasting all weekend from Elkhart, Indiana, from the Hall of Heroes Comic-Con.
Fun.
And Saturday, we will be at Kalamazoo, just
nice.
running around on the floor talking to people and having a good time. So,
Well, I am aggressively trying to heal myself up because I've got some show appearances coming up as well. I've got DamCon in Benton, Kentucky at the end of this month, last weekend of the month. Then I guess it's the following weekend for Free Comic Book Day. I'll be in Maryville, Tennessee at Golden Age 1942 Comics. And that one's going to be special because I'll be there with Roy Thomas. I'm looking forward to that.
Damn, man. See, that's cool.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting day.
If you know, you know. If you don't, you should. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. Roy Thomas is that's a pretty serious name. Then let's see what's coming up after that. Later in May, I'll be at FrankenCon in Knoxville. Then in June, I'll be at Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina. And later in the summer, I'll be at CreepyCon back in Knoxville. There's a very good chance that I'll be in September going to Monroe, Michigan for a show with Dirk. So,
yeah,
But I that one's still a little iffy because that's a long haul for me.
Yeah, and then we'd be trying to get you right back up here in November. Because I do plan on, I'll be talking to Mark Hodges at Grand Rapids, the guy who runs Grand Rapids in Kalamazoo. I'll be talking to him on Saturday, and trying to finalize something that puts us in a booth in November. Cool. Just like what we're going to do in Hall of Heroes. We'll have us a booth. We'll be off to the side. We're not going to be interrupting people while they're trying to sell and shit, We'll be off to the side. We'll set up a booth. We'll do floor interviews. Have some stuff, some Ozzy books to sell. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all action. It's all action.
Well, that's kind of the rundown on what all I got going on for the moment. I recently started. Oh Lord, the work has begun on the artwork for Brides #2, for Brides Volume 2. Nice. Also, work has begun on the artwork for Frog Sweat with Dirk Manning. I have so many projects lined up right now; it's just crazy. And I need to rest and recuperate so I can actually do them.
That's what work is all about, though.
Yep.
You gotta be able to do it. So go get you some rest, my friend. Get to feeling better.
Man.
And I will do the same. I had a pretty rough week too. So I'm just gonna go relax until the shows start later tonight.
All right. Peace out, y'all.
You have a good day, my friend. All right, let's see what kind of ads we got. What kind of ads do we got? Oh, we got this one. Bye.
Coming to Kalamazoo. An event so epic that it must be seen to be believed. A celebration so grand it spans 3 days. Kalamazoo Comic-Con. Join us April 10th through 12th, 2026 at the Kalamazoo Expo Center, 2900 Lake Street, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Doors open Friday from noon to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Meet legendary comic guests like Andrew Petboy, Bart Sears, Bob Hall, Corinne Roberts, Dan Monroe, Danica Davidson, Paul D. Story, Randy Zimmerman, Roger Schultz, Scott Grosima, and Tim Seeley. They're all ready to sign, sketch, and share stories from your favorite comics. And that's not all. Rub shoulders with other special guests, including Blake Foster from Power Rangers, Daniel Logan from Star Wars, Hunter Dino from Power Rangers Dino Fury, Jason Douglas, the voice of Attack on Titan, Megan Shipman from My Hero Academia, Morgana Ignis from Hell of a Boss, Natalie Von Sistine from Dan to Dan, Tiffany Vollmer from Dragon Ball, Young Ye from Like a Dragon, Georgina Leahy, Christina Gailey, Christine McCulfer, Jesse Milo Miles, Kristen Simmons, and the amazing Pink Opal cosplay. Dive into non-stop activities, thrilling panels and Q&As, autograph sessions, photo ops with stars, a massive exhibit hall packed with comics, merch, and collectibles, artist alley showcases, epic cosplay contests, gaming tournaments, kids zones for family fun, and so much more to geek out over. Don't miss this ultimate celebration of comics and pop culture. Grab your tickets now at grcomiccon.com. Prices start low with 3-day passes for the full adventure. We'll see you there, heroes.
Presented by Resolute Bliss with our friends at Live Storm Chasers, because real storms inspire the darkest of legends.
This storm's trying to take us back.
Back to Gear City?
Not again.
Run! Here it comes. There she is. It's the witch.
She sure knows how to make an entrance.
I do hope you will join me. Not Oz like you've known. Welcome to my corner of Oz, a place called Gear City. Back Gear City, a tale from the broken world of Oz. Coming soon to Kickstarter from Resolute Bliss Publishing.
Evening, darlings. It's about time to start this show. Get on out of here. That's my set. My name's Belladonna Lamort, and I'm just hopping on screen to tell you, if y'all ain't checked out the Gasp Horror Anthology from Resolute Bliss, then y'all about as silly as that dusty old bag of bones. So what you waiting for? Head on over and sign up at Kickstarter now.
Ozzy, what are you doing? Come and have a look at this lovely book that was sent over.
You're wrapping in the perpendicular.
Oh, go on and spit the bat out your mouth. No one can understand you like that.
Say how 5 dentists and all.
Oh, well, that's not much better. Ozzy, why don't you sing to me? I can always understand you when you sing to me.
Fucking my brains. What is this my publisher sent me? Inked in black with art so sweet.
So what do you think? Do you like it?
Oh, Lord, yeah.
If you missed the live viewing of any Meg production, you can find all our content on Roku or as a member of this channel. Madness Entertainment Group.